Testing 1, 2, 3. We're working. Audio test 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So what is the project? So in essence, what we're proposing is a 49.9 megawatt energy storage facility, and that's made up of containerized battery storage. So there's a few diagrams there I'll show you, but in effect, what they are is repurposed storage containers, sort of shipping container size, that have been repurposed with racks and racks of small battery components that make up each battery storage unit. Like I said, there's some drawings later on I can show you. So you've got those containers, you've got some associated equipment with those, some transformers as well, an access track, a meter building, and there's also some fencing and screening to sort of screen the project from the road. So what all energy storage projects do in effect is we take power, excess power from the grid. Usually that's renewable energy that's been generated when it's not needed. So you probably drove by wind farms and seen some wind turbines spinning and other ones not, and just wondered why that was. And the reason is that power is not needed and those turbines are told to switch off. So instead of switching off those turbines, what we can do is we can store that excess power and put it back into the electricity grid when it's required. And that helps balance supply and demand for the grid. So that's really what the kind of bare bones of what an energy storage project can do. So we are Intelligent Land Investments Group. So we are an energy storage development company based in Hamilton and South Lanarkshire. We started the energy storage side of things in 2017 with a mission of bringing 3 gigawatts of energy storage to Scotland. Previous to that, we were involved in the feed-in tariff, where we brought over 96 kind of wind, solar projects and some hydro projects as well to fruition. So we've done a lot of in the renewable energy sector. So 3 gigawatts of energy storage, 2 gigawatts of that is going to come from 3 pump storage hydro projects that we are currently have. One of those has recently got planning up at Doors at Loch Ness, Red John. You've maybe seen that publicised. That's a big deal for the company. We have another one that's just went into planning, or the early stages of planning, at Loch Eric. It's called Corryvarkie as well. So we're well on our way to getting these kind of large-scale developments going as well. And obviously we have the 1 gigawatt of battery storage, of which the project at Clayfords would be part of as well. So why do we need this power? Why do we need energy storage in the first place? So Scotland's got a target of net zero by 2045, one of the most ambitious targets in the world. And the problem that we have with that is if we move to renewable energy is intermittent. So that means we can't always rely on it to meet demand. So it only works when the sun shines or when the wind blows, and you can't switch it on when you need it. So historically, what we've done is we've had fossil fuel generators, coal, gas, and nuclear as well to make up the difference. And as we move away from those fossil fuel generators, and as a lot of kind of nuclear goes offline, that means that we're more dependent on that intermittent power source. So what we need in place of that is energy storage. So that lets us store that renewable energy for when it is needed, like I described. So at when turbines are going in the middle of the night and no one needs that power, we can store all that power for when it is actually needed. The National Grid, ESO, who are the electricity operator, they have estimated we need up to 40 gigawatts of energy storage by 2050. Currently have around about 4.5 gigawatts of energy storage, so we've got a long way to go. And the Scottish government as well are well aware that we need energy storage, and they're broadly supportive of energy storage projects like this one. So why are we at this location? Why are we at the land at Clayfords? And the reason is that it's right beside the stricken GSP. The GSP is basically a grid supply point. So that's the kind of large substation that's there. So where you get power coming in on pylons at high voltages, it gets broken down into smaller voltages out to your homes, out to smaller substations, and eventually to your homes and to your businesses. And that's kind of why it's a kind of major hub for the grid. Now, there's quite a few of these. There's quite a few of these grid supply points across Scotland, but unfortunately, not all of them can take this kind of level of power. But the grid supply point at Stricken, the substation there, has the ability to kind of take that 50 megawatts of what we're trying to put in. So that's why we're at the location at Stricken. So here you see the next few drawings give you a kind of planning view of what we're proposing. So you might have seen this drawn already. You've got the kind of substation there and the kind of red line boundary going either side of that. So the site lies immediately beside the existing grid substation around 1 kilometre east of Stricken. Currently the land is basically farmland at the moment, so I think it's been used for grazing. The closest houses to the facility are the Clayford cottages around 300 metres away to the north, and Howford around 500 metres to the southwest. So we're a good distance from many other properties as well. The site layout, so you can see we've got the substation in the middle, existing electricity substation, so we're right beside it. We've got 54 energy storage units, which are the kind of green rectangles you can see. And alongside those, we have the converters and transformer banks, which are kind of like the blue rectangle, and then the kind of smaller little blue rectangles beside them. And together they make up the kind of the energy storage facility. There's also 2 store units, but the main bones of the project is the energy storage units and the transformers and the converters. Now, because of the shape of the project, we are using both sides on the north and the west of the land there around the substation. And we have there'll also be new planting, which is kind of the green hatched area either side of the substation. So they're trying to kind of make the visual impact to the project as minimal as possible. That's one of our major concerns from all of these kind of energy storage projects, is to make the kind of impact of it as minimal as we can from a visual point of view. And like it says there, this final layout is subject to change, but this is what we're currently proposing. So the energy storage units themselves, like I said, they're the same site. They're basically shipping containers that have been repurposed. So they have they're 13 meters by 2.5 meters by 2.6 meters high. If you were to walk in, you can walk into these storage units, and basically there's racks and racks of small battery components. So if you've ever seen inside a data center where you get kind of racks and racks of servers, it's very like that. There's racks and racks of small battery components that make up the full thing. And those are solid-state lithium batteries, which have been used successfully around the world in UK for majority of energy storage projects. So there's a proven technology that we know is to be safe. So the transformers and converter banks, you've got the kind of transformer here, and then you have the kind of banks, which are kind of banks, are like converters are kind of little cabinets. So there's 4 of those, in each converter and transformer banks, and those power converters are around 1.6 meters by 1.4 meters by 2.6 meters tall, and the transformers are around 2.7 meters by 2.5 meters by 2.8 meters tall. And like I said, the final equipment might vary, but it's going to be broad in those terms. So there's also a small substation building that's included in the compound, and that's basically a glass reinforced plastic building that supplies all the equipment that you would need. So it's got all the electrical equipment that we need to take the power from the batteries to the grid, and from the grid back to the batteries again. And that's a prefabbed GRP building, 10 meters by 6 meters by 3.2 meters high, with a colour to be agreed with the council. So I think that gives you a kind of a broad view of who intelligent land investments are, why we need energy storage, why we're looking at this location, and what the end project is going to potentially look like. So if you have any questions, you can ask myself and Greg. Thank you for listening.